And here we go, another round of exciting news coming from D&D. First off, we're getting more little teasers here of Candlekeep Mysteries. We are getting The Joy of Extra-Dimensional Spaces by Michael Polkinghorne. Pretty awesome stuff. A book leads characters on a quest to find a missing sage. This adventure, inspired by Mordenkainen's magnificent mansion spell, presents a memorable introductory for new arrivals to Candlekeep. So because it says introductory right there in the title, and it's a level 1 adventure, this makes me think that this is going to get us roped into this campaign. Or maybe not the campaign, because it's not really a campaign. It's more like, just a setting and also some fun one-shots that can be lumped together. Pretty awesome stuff. I can't wait to do that because I personally love low-level content. And I think Mordenkainen's Magnificent Mansion always has some fun, little applications because whenever you cast that spell, you can create a mansion to your own desires. So naturally, some people are going to create some pretty crazy and wacky stuff. But of course, the real big news is Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft. Yes, we are finally getting a Ravenloft campaign sourcebook. I felt like this day was going to come because every single time they release any one of those polls here on the D&D site, people are enamored with Ravenloft. I personally have done a poll recently, and Ravenloft blew everything out of the water. People love Ravenloft. People love the gothic horror setting. And unfortunately, as of right now, Curse of Strahd is the only application of, the Ravenloft setting. But those of you that know, the Ravenloft setting's massive. In first and second edition, or at least in second edition anyway, that's when it really blew up. That is when we saw, this humongous land and a ton of awesome lords that could control it and a whole bunch of fun applications, and you could have just dozens and dozens of campaigns in the setting because there's just so much to do. So first off there, just looking at the image for the book we have so far, it's Van Richten and Esmeralda side by side. Pretty awesome stuff, pretty iconic characters. If you haven't already played Curse of Strahd, then hopefully this doesn't spoil anything, but I'm pretty sure they don't really care at this point. Those characters are so iconic to the setting and to the campaign that you maybe already have heard of them. But if you're playing through Curse of Strahd, then, I'm not going to say anything spoilery here. But let's go ahead and dive into the info that we got. Face your fears. Unleash the horrors of Ravenloft in this campaign sourcebook for the world's greatest role-playing game. They always have to throw in that world's greatest role-playing game to shove it down your face that they're number one. And they are number one. Terror stalks the nightmare realms of Ravenloft. No one knows this better than the monster scholar Rudolf Van Richten. To arm a generation against the creatures of the night, Van Richten has compiled his correspondence and case files into this tome of eerie tales and chilling truths. So for those of you that don't know, if you're not super duper nerds, a long time ago, in that second edition era, there was in fact other books written by Van Richten. There was Van Richten's tomes and guides and, a whole bunch of these things. And they were traditionally bestiaries or they were supplements. So it is cool that we're getting, an homage to that old school vibe of getting a whole bunch of stuff. So that makes me think that before even seeing those bullet points that we're going to get some fun stuff. Discover the mysteries of Ravenloft, mist-shrouded land where infamous dark lords lurk among ageless vampires, zombie hordes, cosmic terrors, and worse. Then make your choice. Will you create your own domains of dread, settings to host endless terrifying adventures, or will you join the ranks of haunted heroes who embrace macabre lineages, dual-edged dark gifts, haunted subclasses, and other forbidden powers? Awesome stuff. I always love giving people the ideas on how to create their own things. Because yes, making fun setting pieces is great, but sometimes people want to take it completely in a separate direction, but they don't know where to start. So giving them a springboard, giving them ideas, and what I presume this means is giving people a rollable table to, roll on to at least shake things up. That is totally awesome. So having a bit of both is great. Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft contains everything you need to craft a horror-themed campaign for Dungeons & Dragons. Unleash a treasure trove of new story hooks, character options, and campaign customization to bring one of the most exciting D&D settings to life. They are pretty much selling themselves, but hey, they deserve it. Travel, perhaps even by choice, to familiar domains and discover new ones. As Ravenloft Expanded Domains of Dread returns for the first time in 5th edition. Includes rules and advice for building custom domains and Dark Lords. using established horror tropes of your own special blend. You know, it's good that they're acknowledging the past, that they've already done this before, but they are bringing it to life and they're going to do some new stuff. There's a lot of great set pieces in the old stuff, and they're definitely hooking on that, but they also say, hey, we recognize that, you know, everyone does their own thing, so we're going to give that to you. Awesome. Discover a host of new backgrounds and trinkets themed specifically for a horror setting, as well as new character lineages, including the Dampier, Hexblood, and Reborn. So yes, we are now entering an age of D&D where they're now using the word lineages. So they're definitely moving forward with that whole thing. And that makes me totally think that this book is not just intended for DMs, because they're always trying to sell books to everybody. So of course players are going to get this book as well, to just overlook some things and, you know, say, oh, I want to play this and that. You know, that's perfectly awesome. Find 2 new subclasses, the College of Spirits for Bards and the Undead Pact for Warlocks. Just a little splash, just a little taste of some subclasses here. Nothing too special. You know, it's no Tasha's Guide or Xanathar's Guide. But hey, this isn't touted as one of those guides to everything. In fact, if it was, it would be Van Richten's Guide to everything. It's not. It is specifically Ravenloft. Explore dark gifts for characters that flesh out your place in the domains of dread. And of course, as we all know, those of us who have gone through Curse of Strahd, dark gifts can be a double-edged blade. Some pretty fun stuff. Encounter a horrific assortment of creatures from the monster bestiary. Yes, more monsters, and specifically monsters that are tied to the domains of dread. That's what we want to see. We love adding more to that bestiary because after so many years of playing, sometimes you'll keep on running those same monsters. Adding new monsters just keeps this game fresh, especially for newer people showing up to the hobby. They're going to have such a humongous menagerie of creatures to go up against. It's a blast. And importantly as well, it includes a brand new adventure. Now, because there is all this information that we're getting, it's making me think that this is not going to be a full-blown adventure like a Curse of Strahd. So my bet is that it's going to be a short adventure. How short it is really depends. It really depends on how much they flesh out everything else, but there's only so much book space, so if they have this many pages designed for Domains of Dread and then so many pages for the Dark Gifts and everything else, then it's going to make that adventure shorter and shorter. And my goodness, is that alt cover incredibly good looking. Esmeralda at the front and center, and then some creepy monsters behind. Oh, that is just fantastic. There's always a debate on whether people get the alt cover or the regular cover. My thinking is that a lot of people are going to get this alt cover because that alt cover looks incredible. I definitely cannot wait to see that thing with my own hands. That is going to be fun stuff. And we got a release date, of course, May 18th. Whew, just around my birthday. Awesome. I cannot wait. Domains of Dread. I've been asking for it. I know a lot of people have been asking for it. And we finally have it. Or at least we have a confirmation date. So really great times in the D&D hobby. We have Candlekeep coming out right now. We have Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft coming out in May. And we know that there's going to be some fun stuff in the future. So stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for watching. Go ahead and tell me, what are your thoughts on this? Are you pumped? Are you excited? Are you going to make your own Domains of Dread? Or are you going to go ahead and just use whatever is there? Perfectly fine. I highly recommend that you look up some of the old stuff as well, because there's a lot of great stuff to be had with that old set piece. And maybe they'll incorporate that as well. Maybe they'll say, hey, we certainly had all of this stuff in 2nd edition, 3rd edition. Go ahead and check it out. That is going to do it for me, though. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you to all my amazing patrons up here. You guys are absolutely awesome. Thank you so very much. That is going to do it for me. Thank you so much for listening, and I cannot wait to see you all in the next one.